Season 4 is coming on the 23rd of April. And the community is still very divided. I think it's one of those things. Season 4, in a way, does not matter as much as Fated did for Shadowlands, because Fated was completely on its own. That's a thing that I guess we can talk about. I mean, Fated may be more exciting because it had all of the mega dungeons, and the mega dungeons were generally pretty cool. That said, I know a lot of people hate Lower Kara. I would get angry about it, but not in a way where I disliked it. That sounds really unhinged.
No, I follow, because there's dungeons that are frustrating to play in like the Pug environment or in the M+ environment, but they're not bad dungeons. It's just the way they kind of work gives them bad experience.
Oh man, some of that corpse running.
Yeah, it's like as opposed to, let's say, Cathedral of Eternal Night or Seat of the Triumvirate.
I think Cathedral's awesome.
I think you're on crack.
I mean, that might just be because it's like levels of spectacle and fantasy were big.
Were they?
A little bit. I thought it was cool. I liked being there. But also, fair. It was a long time ago, and maybe I have the dementia.
Maybe.
Well, it's possible. I could just be reminiscing.
Yeah. Oh, I remember why it sucks, the spider stairs. And, is it the spider stairs? Whatever there's on the stairs. And then the room with the tree. And the fact there's 8,000 mobs within spitting distance. So all it takes is one person to like tap A or D, and then it's game over.
Delicious.
Straight into 6 mob packs.
So, April 23rd, basically, should you give a damn about this? That's probably the main question. Right, recap of what's coming then. We are getting the updated Mythic Plus dungeon pool, which is basically the 8 original Dragonflight dungeons of Nethalris, Halls and Fusion, Brackenhide, Algorthar, Ruby Life pools, Zervault, Knockhood, and Uldaman, Legacy of Tyr. So, these, I think, broadly speaking, are probably going to feel better than they did when initially we played these. Especially like Season 1 had loads and loads and loads of hotfixes. Season 2 had loads of hotfixes, all changing up mechanics. I mean, Sarka at the end of Nethalris, I mean, the amount of times that her mechanics changed. So, there's that. They've also removed something like 16 abilities. They've toned down the casting rates of a lot of things. I think they're trying to make it less of the high lethality sweatfest that it certainly could have been during Season 1, maybe a bit of Season 2, but also no thundering, which is good.
Yeah, so no seasonal affix will mean these are easier than you remember.
Yeah.
No affixes means...
On top of them, just being easier anyway with scaling.
Yeah, because of scaling and also removing abilities like... which one is it in my head that I was thinking of? Particularly, it was... I don't recall what it was. It was Neltharis has the last boss. The item you get that charges you to the boss is removed because people were pressing it and dying. And they're like, well, that's a cool item, but it kind of sucks to be forced to reposition to hit the boss when the rest are all like ranged. No, it's not good offensive. The guys at the end who do like the really annoying... No, it's not. It's Azure Vault. The Azure Vault guys who do the knockback. They knock you off the platform. If you're not paying attention, that's gone. They removed the knockback. And I was like, the soul has been removed from my game. I love watching tanks get knocked into the abyss. But a lot of stuff is just literally making these better. Just a better experience overall. But they'll also be substantially harder than you remember. Because the difficulty changes. Because a Mythic plus 2 is a Mythic plus 12.
But all the gear and stuff is being rebalanced anyway. So basically, it's not that it's harder, it's just the name's changed.
Yep, exactly.
So yes, you'll be able to... Heroic will be the equivalent of a Mythic 0 right now. A Mythic 0 in Season 4 will be the equivalent of a Mythic plus 10 now, but of course with no affixes and no timer. That means that you can get access to, I believe, champion gear by doing those.
I think it's champion gear from the drops and hero from the vault.
Yeah, so that basically means everyone is going to be able to get really good gear without a timer. And I think that is fundamentally a pretty big thing, actually. I know that for a lot of the Mythic Plus community, for them, they've just looked at this and be like, whatever. They're just, it's changing the numbers, but for us, it's all going to be the same anyway, because they'll be pushing keys. But if you don't want to push keys, well, actually, the core dungeons are going to be... just way more better, way more relevant to you. The idea that you could maybe just start queuing up a heroic and a new character, get decently relevant gear, have that heroic be the equivalent of a Mythic 0 now. I think that all just works quite well. And the other side of that is you'll get more loot per unit time, because in a Mythic Plus, you've got a 40% chance of getting gear. Whereas, 1 to 2 items per boss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Substantially higher.
Substantially more gear, and also that will be buffed further if it's the Dungeon Week. The Dungeon Week will give you, I think...
that's right.
It'll give you a piece of hero gear, but it also makes, I think, every last boss drop an extra bit of gear.
It does. That's
so you could be getting, instead of 1 to 2, maybe 2 to 3 bits of gear.
Nice.
So,
Very
yeah.
good.
Basically, if it is Dungeon Week, because Mythic 0 is now the equivalent of Mythic plus 10 in terms of, like, gearing, yeah, the Dungeon Week's actually kind of relevant in a way that is not just, knock out some quick dungeons and get a bit of raid gear. So I think that's pretty sweet.
I never actually realized that specifically. Didn't think of that. Because who thinks of the dungeon event? It's just, this week you get an extra bit of gear for doing some of your M+. Sweet. Nice. Very good.
So
Very good.
that's all, honestly, I think pretty damn good. The next thing then is raids, which are awakened. And awakened.
Unlike me when I hear that news.
Awakened does increase the difficulty and loot. And that's it.
Would you have been happy if there were a load of affixes attached?
I don't know. It depends if they were fun or not, doesn't it?
Hence, they just went, sorry.
Yeah,
We'll just work on the next expansion. Sorry.
It's lower effort.
Just do the raids.
I think
they were good the first time. Try me in. Which that's the thing I'm actually looking forward to the most personally. I only played a little bit of Fated. Not enough to get the slime cat, so I'm happy I can get that again.
You can get that, yeah.
Well, actually, I can't because I don't want it, so I'll just spend my bullion somewhere else. Which is obviously, that's my prerogative. I can spend it wherever I want. Wow, freedom in a game. Holy shit. Unheard of. Unbelievable. From the same developers who made Shadowlands. What? But I'm looking, I don't remember the affixes being particularly, fun or super engaging. They changed it up a little, but I don't remember them being transformative. And I would actually much rather just go and take another crack at Vault of the Incarnates, raw. It might be a little easy because the scaling of gear will be there. I don't know if they'll bother to tune it to be too hard. And obviously we've cleared the raid before, so it's just a matter of remembering the mechanics and doing them correctly. But I am genuinely looking forward to it. We had our guilds raid channel in Discord. We have how many people? Actually, let's see. Not everyone has voted, but it looks like we are just about going to have a decent raid team together. And it's since we are mostly a raiding guild, we don't really play that much, or outside of some core people who hang out beyond that. This going, hey, there's an excuse to come back and play content again. Feels actually pretty nice to me. And that's obviously that's that's very anecdotal, but I'm genuinely looking forward to trying out a new spec. I'll probably play Prot Paladin, but I haven't actually tanked a raid in a long time as Prot, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah. And then there's also the fact that you just buy your gear this time from the store. No, dinars return, and they are called antique bronze bullions this time. Now we're not completely sure how often we get these. We know there was the weekly event, the weekly dungeon event gives you some bonus, but it seems like they just drop. But there's a lot of unconfirmed stuff that we have to actually find out when it goes live. But you can buy your effect items, your cantrips, your weapons, and your trinkets for 2 dinars each. As well as also a lot of people noticing there are transmog options. So if you don't want gear but you get these coins, you can actually just buy raid transmogs instead of the actual gear. You can buy specific things. And obviously you can buy the slime cap mount from Shadowlands as well, which is very nice. Look for, because I didn't play enough of Shadowlands to actually deal with that.
Yeah.
Actually see what it felt like to have your gear just handed to you for playing the game and be able to pick which bit as opposed to having to farm it out. As pointed out, it's any weapon coloration you there for 1 dinar each. So instead of gear, you can get colors of weapons. If that's more your speed and more your long-term goal, you can get them transmog for cheaper instead of just the weapons, which is really nice. Because that's one of the things people like, especially when it comes to transmog from a boss that's what I call comes from a current raid, but an out-of-date one.
Yeah.
So if you want something from Vault of the Incarnates, like how do you get that? Well, you have to put together a group. Who's going to do Vault of the Incarnates? Not very many people, but you did this way. You did this way instead.
Yeah.
Here's all our like other rewards as well. The kind of stuff. They just sort of. It's a new season. You get new stuff. There's the Wildering Mount. There's the Awakened title, and there's raid portals, which is actually new. Unfortunately, not many people are going to get these, considering it's go and do the mythic raid. The mythic raid that you have to progress, but it rotates. So come back in 3 weeks' time to make more progress on the raid. So I'm not quite sure how many people have those, but that's a really cool addition. Because I think people love the dungeon portals. People love them. And you've got the Draconic title, the Infinite Armored on Mount. Keystone Hero is hee-haw. Sorry.
Screw
Good
you.
luck. And then Draconic Hero, then PvP has mounts, titles, stuff like that. But, unfortunately, the community is divided. And why is that? Because they basically just... How do I put this? I don't want to, try to discredit what they're saying or, say just be quiet and enjoy a video game. But there is a case of I think people definitely are I don't want to just do the same thing again, right? What's Awakened about the raids? Awakened.
Nothing.
This shit's putting me to sleep. No mechanical differences. Max has said it's going to set bad records. It's just not looking great. Obviously, Tattles comes in with the don't want to be a doomer, still going to enjoy it, but it's a missed opportunity. And that's the thing we see as a community more than anything else. We see missed opportunity because we can very easily say, Awakened. You could have awakened some sort of dormant fun in the game. How about that? Idiots. Why did you not think of that, Blizzard? Why did you not think of making the game better and fun and more stuff? Why did you not go and rework Throne of Thunder for modern audiences? Why did you not do that instead? And the answer is more likely
opportunity cost.
Yeah. So we don't see what they're working on instead.
Horrible phrase, or that horrible 2 words that ruins everything.
Yeah, exactly. Literally ruins everything. It's what if better though?
If better than better.
Why'd you not make it better though?
It probably would have been worth them saying that hey, yeah, we didn't have time. We didn't. It's one of those things where I've got to imagine they didn't want to under-deliver. I mean, this is under-delivering, but to set a higher expectation and then under-deliver. Or say that they are doing something, but realistically they don't think they have the time to actually test it well and ends up, launching and being scuffed. Whereas this is boring, but it might just be plain and simply boring rather than, a big thing that represents diminished quality or bugs or, that sort of thing, I imagine.
See, we as humans are very, very good at pattern recognition. And you'll see, and by good, take it with a grain of salt. Whenever COVID happened and everyone stayed indoors and everyone bought a Switch and bought Animal Crossing and played video games and spent all of their money on video games because they couldn't go outside to spend it on outside things. Remember when the line went up a little bit and then the entire game industry went, line going up. If the line goes up, then surely it's going to go up again because it just went up. Surely the line can go up forever, for all of time. And we do the same. Obviously, I ended catastrophically, by the way. But we do the same here, where we see, as a community as a whole, we see line slightly down. In the sense that this isn't the most, this isn't the most engaging, the most exciting thing of all time. Lying a little bit down. Therefore, the line must be going down now. Therefore, Blizzard have run out of time and developers and effort, and it's over. If they can't make Awakened raids good, the War Within must be dead.
Just quit now. Save yourself the hassle. Yeah, go.
Yeah, that's it.
Game's dead. Game's dead.
As we can tell, because
it's so over.
Because people are thinking there wasn't enough work put into the season. That's we're working on the expansion. We're very sorry. Have something. And like, not enough. Sorry, it's dead. And obviously, like, they're valid enough to say this kind of sucks, but it doesn't necessarily mean Blizzard should have, put brakes on everything else they're doing to make this specifically better. Surely you have to find a decent, midpoint of keeping the game active and alive and throwing stuff in. Which then brings us to the point of there's a patch with other content coming in a couple of months, and we just got Plunderstorm. And like, there's a lot of work going in. I think there's just a little bit of people going,
it's a bit messy, and
I would have slightly preferred if work was put into the thing I like more.
Yeah, they haven't like managed expectations brilliantly. They should have, if possible, they should have done the PvE thing first. I imagine, obviously, given the ordering of patches, that probably wasn't a feasible thing, which then means they should have teased more of what the PvE thing is in and around Plunderstorm so that people actually, felt reasonable.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Exactly. So that's really it for Season 4. Season 4 is coming. You can play it, or you cannot play it. You really could say about any season of World of Warcraft, to be honest. It is coming, and you can choose to play it or not. I definitely will be. Are you going to join us in Raid?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Excellent. I look forward to that. I look forward to raiding, and I kind of say that in most patches, but very specifically this time I'm like, now that I know I won't be stuck in Aberys, because I can just do a different raid the next week, and I can just close my eyes and wait for Aberys to be over, and then actually do a Murdercell and Vault, which I actually like, and that'd be handy enough.